Hello and welcome, hipsters, flipsters, and finger-popping daddies and groovy chicks. Welcome to the Jazz Ranch and here at the Underground. And I have a quote for you from Cannonball Adderley, the great saxophonist. He said, "Hipness is not a state of mind, it's a fact of life." And his brother Nat said, "I have never heard of a jazz musician who retired. You love what you do, so you keep doing it for the rest of your life." That's very true. And I have a special lesson for you tonight about jazz improvisation, how to begin to improvise. Easy improvisation and how to start at it. Here we go. I'm going to show you how to build a solo, a jazz improvisation solo, starting from the easiest point and building it step by step. So we're going to start out with an easy progression, and they're going to be, the right hand is just going to be playing the melody in half notes. And then we're going to move from half notes to passing tones, which will be quarter notes, and then adding syncopation, which will make it sound more like a jazz phrasing type of interpretation. Then we're going to add left hand syncopation to match up with the right hand syncopation. Then I'm going to vary the syncopation in the next step, and then I'm going to go to eighth notes. That's what we want to build to getting to a point where we can play eighth notes. That's what most jazz improvisation is about, eighth notes. Then we're going to vary the eighth note improvisation to syncopate it more. We're going to add syncopation to the eighth notes, and then we're going to transpose it to another key. That's the steps. There are going to be 9 different steps. Here we go. This is all about jazz improvisation, but keeping it very simple and easy. So we're just going to be using the white notes of the C scale, C major scale, or C diatonic scale. No other notes, just those notes. So we're going to work with those. And we're going to start with a simple progression. And it's going to be 4 measures, so 2 beats for each chord. So that it's going to be based on the scale tone 7s like this. In other words, the chords that are built on the C scale, like this. We're going to use 7th chord, so we're going to have a root in the 7th. Now, I'm going to go with this. Here's the progression. The 1 chord, C major 7, to the 4 chord, F major 7, to the 3 chord, E minor 7, to the 6th chord, A minor 7, that's inverted, to a D minor 7, the 2 chord, then the 5 chord, which is G7, which is inverted, and the C major 7, and then the C6. Now we're going to simplify the left hand just to have it play the root in the 7th or the root in the 3rd. So it's going to go root in 7th for the 1 chord, root in 3rd for the 4 chord, root in 7th for the 3 chord, root in 3rd for the 6 chord, root in 7th for the 2 chord, root in 3rd for the 5 chord, and root in 7th for the 1 chord, and then root in 6. So you see there's a pattern there. Root in 7th, root in 3rd, root in 7th, root in 3rd, root in 7th, root in 3rd, root in 7th, root in 6th. So there's the pattern. Now that's C major 7, F major 7, E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G dominant 7th, F major, C major 7, C6. Now you see that's keeping it simple, so you have to hear the notes that are missing, but I just want to use 2 notes in the left hand just to simplify the left hand for now. Now we need to pick out melody notes, and we're going to start out with just 1 melody note per chord. So we're going to pick a chord tone that's in that chord. So we can pick the root, the 3rd, the 5th, or the 7th. I like the 3rd because it really is exclusive to that chord, really identifies that chord, and it gives it strength. So I'm going to start out with the C major 7. I'm going to start with the 3rd. That's all I'm going to do is C major 7 like that. So 2 notes in the left hand, 1 note in the right. Now the next chord is F major 7. I'm going to take the 3rd again. I know I'm doubling, but that's okay. I like the 3rd there. Now the E minor 7, I'm going to go to the 3rd there. Now the A minor 7, I'm going to go down to the 5th. Now this is the 5th of the chord. I'm not talking about the notes in the C scale. I'm talking about now, that's the 3rd of a C major 7. This is the 3rd of an F chord. This is a 3rd of an E minor chord. This is the 5th of the A minor chord. So you see what I'm saying? This is the third now of the D minor chord, and this is the fifth of the G chord, G7 chord, and then the third. If you interpret it in terms of the C scale, it'd be 3, 6, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3. You see, but I'm identifying the notes based on the chord that I'm playing. So you want to start out with that. Now here's what I have. That's the melody that I have. Now you want to just get that. Now you can vary it. You can do, other things. You could have 5 to 5 to 5, right, to 3 to 1 to 3 to 1. I might have lost you there, but I'm identifying. You can play different chord tones. It's your choice. You want to first start with that, with just one note per chord, and try to get a nice sounding melody. Like here's another one, maybe like that. And you're not even worrying about rhythm or anything else. Just get a good note. So the next step will be now to add another note in the right hand to create passing tones, and we're going to go to quarter notes. Now the next step is adding passing tones. Now, so that means we're going to have quarter notes, or we're going to have a note in between those notes. So we had this. So now I'm going to do this. So I'm putting a note in between. You see, I went from here to here, and I'm going to put this note in between and go to there, and then I can put this note in between, and then there, and then this note in between. So those are passing notes. Chord tone, target tone, passing tone, target tone, passing tone, target tone, passing tone, target tone, target tone, passing tone, target tone, target tone. Now this is very important that you get this. See, so like there it is. Now I could have, if you don't like that note, if you don't like that note there, it's a little dissonant, then you could do this. Like that. That's pretty logical. You could go like this. You could do that. That's another choice, or another choice might be this. Like that. You see, there's a lot of choices here, so you can experiment with what you like to hear. But the important thing is to get a passing tone and then a target tone. Okay, to make it sound like jazz, we have to have syncopation, which means now we're going to emphasize the offbeats, in other words, upbeats. So we had these quarter notes, right? So now we're going to put notes on the offbeat, which means we're going to put them on the ands. Like if we counted this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to add like something like this: 1, 2, and 3, and. So we're going to hit the and, more of the ands, or like that. See, so now the left hand can play straight rhythm, and the right hand can play the syncopation like this. That takes some practice, actually. See, now I put it on with the syncopation. So I had this melody. Now jazz interpretation. So you see, I'm putting off beats in there. I'm counting it. This was 1, 2, 3, right on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you have it. Now you might want to use the metronome to keep that left hand, whoops, that's way up there. Keep it steady. So you can put it on, this on just a quarter note, like that. So you're sure your left hand is keeping steady while that rhythm is syncopated. Now I know rhythm is the hardest thing to get, so this is going to be something you're going to have to work at, but just get that left hand steady, like this. Then try to play the right hand syncopated. See, that'll help you to keep steady. You can't let the right hand rhythm affect the left so it goes out of time. So now we can support that rhythm with the left hand, which is the next step. Step 4, adding left hand syncopation. Now that means I'm just going to be supporting the right hand syncopation with the left hand. In other words, instead of it being like this, let's see, like that, it's going to be, I'm going to hit the chord at the same time as the melody note hits, like, so it's going to be ahead of the beat. It's going to be like 1, 2, and 3, 4, like that. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, with the melody. 1, 2, like that. Now next step is going to be to vary the syncopation. Step 5, now I had this, now I'm going to have this. Now I'm going to vary it like this, 1, 2, and so it's off the beat more, like. You see, there's a head of the beat, so it's, you have to count it like it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's making it sound more like jazz, right? The next step is really important because it's turning in the quarter notes to eighth notes. In other words, jazz improvisation is a lot of eighth notes, really. So you want to get to that level where you're playing eighth notes. So there's going to be passing tone, a lot of more passing tones, chord tones. So like we went from this. Now you have this. Let's go like this. So now you can't, you have to be really fast. So like that. So now I'm going to just slow it down. So we, like this. This is the original melody. So now it becomes this. Now it's just one possibility. You could do lots of different ones, but I'm just chose that one. One more time. All white notes, you see. Okay, that wasn't too interesting. So now I'm going to try to make it more interesting with the eighth notes. I'm going to do this. it's more melodic. Why is this more? That's okay, but you see that follows. This follows. You're always looking for the most melodic line. See, that repeats that line. And this. So this, you see this, these are steps. 3, 6, 2, 5. So I can repeat that pattern. Transpose. Like that, see? You want to just get the eighth notes, and you can do it very slowly if you like. Work it out. Now let's give it the syncopation. Now here's the same line, simplified, but with syncopation. See, like, you see that? So I made it off the beat. So that's the same line as this. Now I could do something more complicated, like, but I'm not going to do that. Like that. So that's the final step for this particular lesson. I'm going to just do one more step, which is transposing it to F major. The next step would be, the last step would be to transpose it to another key. So if we went up a fourth, now we would be in the key of F. Now we have one flat. So we have this scale. So now we'd have this. Like that. Okay, so let's go through the steps now. First step, basic progression with the chord tones. Adding passing tones. Adding syncopation. Adding the left hand syncopation. Varying the syncopation. Eighth notes. Varying the eighth notes. One more time. Now, syncopating the eighth notes. Then transposing. Yeah, so there you have it. You know, remember the Cannonball Adderley quote, "Hipness is not a state of mind, it's a fact of life." But we can learn to be hip. You know, I tried to learn. I never got hip, but I tried to learn anyway, so I'm working at it. But until next time, I'll say swing loose, be cool, and we'll see you around the block. Bye-bye.